Here are 5 things many OET students get wrong. Are you a medical professional worried that you're getting things wrong? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that OET students get wrong so that you can avoid them. You're not going to want to miss this. Hi there everyone, and welcome back to another video from Swoosh English. My name is Grace and I am an expert OET teacher. Now in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 common mistakes that OET students make, and most importantly, I'm going to give you some tips for how you can avoid making these mistakes yourself. So let's get started. Here we go then. These are the 5 things that many OET students get wrong. And I'm going to begin by talking through each of these 5 common mistakes. At number 1, we have memorizing answers or using a template. This is something people often try to do in OET speaking and writing. Number 2 is poor time management. Number 3, not preparing properly. Not understanding the task. And finally, we have panicking. So here are your 5 common mistakes. Now I'm going to go through each one individually and give you some really helpful advice so that you can make sure that you avoid making these mistakes. Let's begin with mistake number 1, which is memorizing answers or using a template. Now, many OET students think that they can just memorize some set phrases or even have a set template that they're going to use for their OET letter. This is unfortunately not going to work. So for OET writing, there is no set template that you can use for all letters. The information that you include and the way you organize it will depend on the case notes and the task. So the best way to avoid making this mistake is to ensure that you don't use the same template for all your letters. Make sure you get plenty of practice with a variety of case notes and tasks so that you get used to selecting the right information and organizing it appropriately. For OET speaking, you will need to respond to the interlocutor in a way that's appropriate for the situation. So as with OET writing, each situation is going to be different. There aren't set phrases that you can memorize and throw in just because you think they'll get you good grades. There are some functional phrases that you can use, but these must be used naturally. So what I mean by this is that you don't want to sound like a robot. When you're doing your OET preparation and you're learning useful language, for example, to gather information or check and clarify information, that's absolutely fine, but you have to know how to use them naturally at an appropriate point in the conversation. So the best thing you can do to avoid making this mistake is to get plenty of speaking practice with a variety of role plays. This way, you'll get used to using those essential phrases in a way that's natural for the conversation. Next, let's talk about mistake number 2, which is poor time management. Now, this is often a problem in OET reading and writing. So what commonly happens is that people don't know how to properly manage their time in these subtests, meaning that in perhaps the reading test, they don't finish all of the questions, and in the writing test, maybe their letter is only half written, or perhaps they don't have enough time to check at the end for spelling and grammar mistakes. So what can you do to make sure that you don't run out of time, you manage your time efficiently, and complete all of the questions and tasks in the time given? Well, let's take a look. So for OET writing, remember that you have 5 minutes of reading time at the beginning. This time should be used to skim the case notes and understand the task, and then you can start selecting the relevant information to include in your letter. Once you've done that, I recommend that you write a brief plan. So you've gathered all of the information that you need, you've planned out how you're going to organize it, and then you can write your letter. This is ultimately going to save you time later down the line and hopefully enable you to finish your entire letter in the time given. For the reading test, it's absolutely essential that you use skimming and scanning skills to help you locate the answers more quickly. This is really important, especially in part A, where you only have 15 minutes to answer 20 questions. So if you often struggle with reading part A, make sure you know how to skim and scan, as this is really going to help you. For parts B and C, try to complete part B in 10 minutes so that you have more time for part C, which tends to be a little bit more challenging. So if you can get part B done as quickly as possible, you're going to have more time for the more difficult part of the test. And try not to waste time on difficult questions. It is quite possible that you'll come across a question or two that you're not sure how to answer. If this happens, don't worry, make your best guess and move on and try to finish the rest of the questions. If you have time, you can always come back to it at the end of the test. Next, let's talk about mistake number 3, which is not preparing properly. Now, proper preparation is essential for any English exam, and OET is no different. So it's really important that you take the time to prepare properly. You should do this by first taking a readiness test, because that will help you to know your current level and it will give you an idea of how much work is needed to get your required scores. You should also get plenty of feedback from an expert OET teacher. So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking they can prepare for OET all by themselves. But unfortunately, if you're not getting feedback from an experienced expert OET teacher, you're not going to know where you're going wrong or how to improve. This is a big mistake that people make, but it's absolutely essential that you do not do this. Make sure you're completing mock exams, as this will help you see your progress. It will help you to see where your strengths are and the areas that you still need to work on. And of course, do not book the exam until you are ready. So a lot of people make this mistake where they think that they are ready for OET, but maybe they haven't prepared properly and they end up failing. You don't want to be one of these people, so make sure that you only book the exam when you're confident you can pass. Now, if you're looking for an OET exam preparation course, Swoosh English can help. We have a variety of different courses that include things like video lessons, live group classes, writing corrections, mock exams, and so much more. You'll get that essential teacher feedback that's needed to improve and generally help you feel more confident and ready for test day so that you can pass the first time. So if you're looking for an exam preparation course like this, head over to our website, www.swooshenglish.com, and take a look at our exam preparation options. Next up is mistake number 4, which is not understanding the task. It's absolutely essential that you take time to understand the question or understand the task, because if you don't, you might end up getting the wrong answer or not performing very well. So how can you make sure you avoid this mistake? Well, you should use any preparation time wisely. For example, in the writing task, you have 5 minutes to prepare. During this 5 minutes, carefully read the case notes and task and ask yourself, who are you writing to and what information do they need to know? If you take some time to properly answer these 2 questions, you're much more likely to understand the task and perform well in the writing test. For speaking, make sure you take time during the 3 minutes of preparation to analyze the situation on the roll card and look at the bullet points. If you take time to properly analyze the task on the roll card, you're going to perform much better in the role play. And for reading and listening, when you come across a question, think carefully. What is the question asking me for? What information do I need to get? Identifying keywords can really help you to do this, so try to do that for your reading and listening test. And then once you've fully analysed the question, read and listen carefully to make sure that you can get the correct answer. Now, our final mistake, mistake number 5, is panicking. Now, of course, it's absolutely natural to feel nervous on test day. It is quite a stressful situation. But if you panic during the exam, you're not going to perform well. So you really want to avoid making this mistake. So what can you do? Well, the first thing you can do is make sure that you've prepared properly. If you've really taken the time to properly prepare for your OET exam, you're going to go into the test feeling confident and you'll be much less likely to panic. You should do plenty of practice tests and get feedback, so put yourself in a simulated exam environment. Do timed practice tests, get feedback from your teacher. This is also going to contribute to your confidence and overall performance on test day. Don't book the exam until you're ready. So if you book the exam before you're ready, you're not going to feel very confident, and that might lead to panicking. So make sure that you only book the exam once you feel confident that you can pass. Work on your exam mindset. Look at some strategies that you can use to have a positive mindset. If you go into the exam feeling positive, you'll be less likely to lose control and be in a state of panic. And in the exam, take some deep breaths, try to stay calm, as this will really help you too. Now, if you encounter a challenge during the test, don't let that put you off. Don't start panicking. Just move on. Stay focused on the next question or the next task. Try not to worry about things that have happened in the past. Stay present and try to perform the best that you can in the moment. Hopefully you found this video useful and you've now got a pretty good idea of how you can avoid making those common OET mistakes. Let's take a moment to recap what we've talked about and leave you with 5 important takeaways. So number 1 is do not use a template or try to memorize an answer. Remember, there are no shortcuts in OET, so using a template, memorizing set answers is not going to get you the grades that you need. Learn how to manage your time in each subtest. Don't be put off by the time limit. If you do plenty of practice and you know what strategy you're going to use, there's no reason why you shouldn't finish all of the questions or tasks in the time allowed. Ensure that you understand the tasks and the questions. Remember that preparation time is there to help you, so use this time wisely. Prepare properly with an OET course. Make sure that any course that you're using has expert teacher feedback, mock exams, and plenty of practice activities to get you properly prepared. And finally, although it can be tempting, try to stay calm and don't panic. This is not going to help you perform well on exam day. If you've followed all of my advice and you've prepared properly, there's no reason why you shouldn't walk into your exam feeling calm and confident. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave us your feedback in the comments below. If you have a question for me, please feel free to leave a comment and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, if you're looking for more free OET content, I would like to invite you to our OET masterclass that happens on Fridays. All you have to do to get signed up for the masterclass is click on the link that you'll find below this video. In that class, there'll be lots more helpful tips and tricks to help you get prepared and pass your OET exam the first time. So don't miss out and sign up for that today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I will see you next video.